intersection I need. What's going on, guys? This is Carl with the Racerred channel. Out here riding some beautiful Idaho single track, running the GoPro. And I find myself using the GoPro pretty often. Hasn't been glitching too much, although when it does, it really causes issues for me. GoPro is the creator of the original action camera. I was trying to figure out an action camera situation before GoPro even existed. I mean, this is something that I've always been interested in. So GoPro really has made some amazing cameras that put out crazy quality. I did get the DJI Action Osmo, or Osmo Action 3. And that thing has its own issues. I mean, it works every time you hit record. So it's not glitchy in that way. But the audio on that thing is terrible. And audio is the most important thing for me. It's more important than video. You gotta be able to hear the engine noise. You gotta be able to hear everything without blowing out the audio. And the DJI Osmo Action 3 doesn't do a very good job. I got the Bluetooth mic for it, and that does really good, especially for wind noise, so I use it on the street, but it doesn't even recognize that the thing is plugged in probably about 90% of the time, so I have to keep plugging it in. I've updated it, I've done all kinds of stuff, and now I'm to the point where I'm trying to return it. It's a real pain. So I'm going back to GoPro. I'm using old GoPros, which the video quality on GoPros has been absolutely amazing for many years. They've had 4K for a long time. So now they're just trying to make things more reliable, and they have the replaceable lens, which is really good. They made a huge mistake with the GoPro 8, and because they made the lens to where it wasn't replaceable on that one. But now we're at the GoPro 12, and they've had the replaceable lens now since the 9. They've made some good changes. A lot of it's been software, but regardless, they did make the battery life better. So on the new ones, you don't, like right now I have a bag full of batteries on me. I'm just swapping them out every half an hour. But the new GoPros actually last pretty well. The 12 took GPS away, so you can't have GPS overlays with that one. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not, but they did that, I think, to increase battery life. So the 11 has GPS capability, but the 12 does not. The 12 has slightly better battery life because of that. It actually doubles the battery life in some situations, some uncommon filming situations, like the super high resolution stuff. But the day-to-day use type filming, it increased the battery life by like 12%, I think. Like, don't quote me on that, but I think that's about what it is. So So yeah, from the 11 to the 12, the GoPro has dropped the GPS. It's increased its battery life slightly. But the thing that disappoints me is that they don't go for more things that would prevent glitching. So there's that and battery life, which are my main two concerns at this point. I like the audio, so I'm gonna use GoPro, no doubt about it. And they've made leaps and bounds, so I don't want to bash them too hard here, but yeah, battery life is important, and then I want it to work. I want the camera to work no matter what. And sure, a bigger sensor would be nice. That way you have better video quality, especially in low light. That's where holy shnikes, that threw me at a weird angle. I hit a obstacle as I was going into that, so I was wonky going into that marsh. One thing that action cameras don't do well, and that's pretty much any camera, is that they don't show you how steep terrain is. Like this right here, if you go off the edge, it's gonna take a lot to get back on the trail. It really will take a lot. So my wish list for GoPro is not very long right now. All I want is a camera that doesn't glitch at all. There's no glitchiness. You never lose files. Doesn't matter what happens. If you run out of battery, it saves the file. If you have an overheat problem, it still saves the file. Like, files do not go away no matter what. And preferably, the camera won't overheat. I'd like that too. I mean, it's hard to make this stuff. I mean, it's easy for me to say this, but I understand that they've got people working on these things. But that said, I'm a big fan of GoPro in general, and I'm gonna start using their GoPro 11 for sure. And I'll probably use it eventually in lieu of the DJI Osmo Action cameras. I'll probably just drop those and use the GoPro, because those DJIs, they're not supposed to be glitchy whatsoever, but the audio has always been a weak point for them, and I can verify that audio is definitely a weak point. I've used all kinds of external microphones with the DJI, and it just not working. And then, you know, you can use their Bluetooth one, which works pretty good, but then you don't get as much engine noise, which is kind of lame. And then there's the issue of me getting a bad camera. I did lots of research about this, and apparently some of them just are like this. It's not a common issue with them, but there have been reports of people having the same issue as far as the external microphone that DJI makes not being seen by the camera. So I know that all was a lot of nerd speak for a lot of people, but it does affect you guys as well if you want to watch videos that look nice. And GoPro does a pretty good job. Overall, I like them. Slimy. I definitely don't want to risk falling off to my right. Things got squirrely through that last marsh. Looked up and I thought that was a bear in front of me. I was like, oh man. Well, I guess I'm bear poop. Went from Racerred to bear poop. Yeah, action cameras have come a long ways. Depth perception is something that they've always lacked. Any camera lacks that for sure. But overall, they are really great. YouTube is a great platform. I've made hundreds and hundreds of videos at this point. And for me, I always get caught in between quality versus quantity. So I used to be up all night. And now I sleep pretty much at a normal time-ish. But I could spend a full night working on a video, whereas now I'm sleeping at that point and I'm busy during the day usually, so I have to really dedicate a day sometime to doing edits. And so far I haven't spent a whole lot of time on each edit. But when I do find a day to edit, I find myself thinking, well, what if I just make a bunch of videos so that people can enjoy different areas and like see more stuff? I know that a lot of you guys don't need a professional quality edit. You just want to see the content. And honestly, days like today where I'm talking the whole time and like this is kind of what I'm doing. This is what my channel is meant to be, is just talking about whatever topic. And I know it works for podcasts, but does it work for riding a dirt bike? Because I'm the only dirt bike rider that I know about that makes this style of video where I'm just talking about whatever comes to mind, much like a podcast. And a lot of times I will have a subject in mind, but for the most part I'm just winging it. Got a pretty good loop going right here. Should drop me down at the road. I was getting a little bit nervous. I'm feeling better now. Because back there it was really steep and the switchbacks were gnarly. And there is deadfall in here, so it is kind of making me a little bit nervous still. I don't want to get stuck. I've got that saw on me. I can usually make it happen with that thing, but I'm seeing a lot of this is pretty thick. A lot of these trees are huge. So, the YouTube algorithm is not really meant for guys like me, though. Conservatives who ride dirt bikes and will say that like environmentalism is something that was introduced into schools at the imprinting age in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, to enter people's minds and never leave. Howard Bloom was talking about that in a podcast, and it really resonated because I definitely see it. So when I come out here, oftentimes I am kind of bashing environmentalism and saying it's a religion and all that stuff, and YouTube has algorithms that catch every word that you say. They put it through their algorithm, and if they don't like it, they're throttling down your channel. They're putting the guy from Canada who is just a cookie cutter, never says anything controversial type thing. They're putting his channel's videos way up front. If you never say anything controversial or speak your mind how you really think, then you will do well on YouTube. And if I was just about performance, that's what I would do, but I always find myself talking about controversial topics because that stuff is important to say. It is very important to say, and I think if you do say it, eventually it'll pay off. If you're real, then eventually people will see that. That was a sharp V into a marsh. The most important thing is to prepare for these obstacles as opposed to just riding into them. Like, sometimes I get lazy and I'm just riding into stuff. But that time I got way back on the seat and I looked at it really carefully and de-weighted the front end. So, yeah, do I believe that it's the smartest thing to talk about the topics that I talk about often on YouTube as a video creator? I don't think it is. I was ultra safe over that, by the way. I didn't have to get off the bike. I wasn't off the bike, I just did the Pansy turn. I did the Pansy turn. Dude, that's fresh cut. Thank you, whoever did that. That's a fat one. Oh great, there's another one up ahead. Alright guys, I'm going to chop this out of the way. Catch you on the next video. Peace. So I just cut this with my silky big boy saw. Trying to move it out of the trail here. It's a whopper. Well, that one right there would have taken a big saw, not just a regular chainsaw.